This is an overview of the Zenit Shutter Repair Jig. We have the base unit here with 4 large holes. Ideally you want to screw that down to a nice piece of baseboard to give it some weight, stop it moving. We have 5 M3 holes, which should be a tight but sliding fit for an M3 bolt. On the underside you'll need to insert 5 M3 nuts. The best way to do this is to put a bolt all the way through here, screw the nut on, and of course the nut will be prouder than the base at the moment. Heat the surface of the nut with a soldering iron, no more than 200 degrees Celsius, just very gentle pressure, and then suddenly it will start pushing in. And when it's pushing about halfway through, flip it over, push down, and that should be nice and square. Repeat that with the 5 holes. Then we have our lathe holders. There's the first curtain lathe, which will fit in there, or the second curtain lathe, which will fit in there. Then we have 2 slots here. First one is for the first roller holder, which will fit in there. And the second slot is for the second roller, which will fit in there. And they won't fit in the wrong place, as you can see it won't quite fit there. It's not good now. And we have a blanking piece which you can use to fill the unused hole. So we can put the first curtain in there, first roller there, and our blanking piece there. Now we come on to the shutter drum itself. You'll see the ribbons are fouled on here, it's falling off. So if you look at the drum, the second curtain is very nicely attached. Normally these don't foul, they start to come away here. So all I would do is just re-glue up to the edge there and just re-glue that back on. The rest of it's very, very well stuck. Notice how the blind lines up with the slot here, which means that this blind actually does go round more than 360 degrees when it's on there. Now if we look into the top of the drum, I'm referring to the service manual, it tells us to align it when inserting into the camera in the unfired position, sorry, the fired position, which means you get this slot here at about the 11 o'clock position and have it just in front of this brass part here, which is part of the outer part of the drum. And if, like me, you're keeping the second curtain on, here you see it's too far round, so I'm 180 degrees out, so I need to rotate the inner drum. There, that's wound on nicely. So we have our slot here just in front of the brass. So now we take our hub, marked bottom, which is the exact inverse of there. So we have a dog sticking out here, which will then slot into the inner drum. We have this raised semicircular area, which will fit into the cutout of the brass outer drum. That will then lock the 2 parts together in the fired position as if it was in the camera. So we can slide this on here, this has to be a tight fit, and then we can look down here. The dog will engage first with the inner roller because it's longer, that locks there, and just gently twist until this semicircular part engages. That's nice tight fit along there, so that is now correct, and our distance there is correct. Then we take our other hub, which fits on there. That's just a holder, there's nothing clever in there. Then we can just gently put that in here for now. So here is our first curtain. Now you need ideally to pick all of the old glue off as much as you possibly can without damaging the ribbons on both sides there. And then this will fit into the jig. The rubber side should be facing you, so it would be facing the film in the camera. Sorry, the rubber side will be facing you, which will be facing the lens in the camera, and the back fabric side would be facing the film. That's how it fits down there, so the rubber side facing you. We take one of our locking plates, fits across here, have our lathe fitting neatly there. Move this up just so it holds it. Let's hold it either side there. And we can add our bolt here. I'm just using M3 bolts and I've pinched 2 nuts together on there. Ideally you'd get some thumb screws from AliExpress or somewhere. Make it much easier to use. Okay, that holds that nice and square there. So now our ribbons can fit underneath the drum. Like that. You can push the drum down and then pull our 2 ribbons to make sure they're nice and tight here. Make sure everything is all nice and square here. Then along here from about the 5 o'clock position, apply some adhesive, but not right to the end. I personally use contact adhesive that you can put together before it's dried, providing one side is breathable, which of course the ribbons are. Then one can pull the ribbon round, stick, do the same on this side. And now the indexing position is now set up perfectly on the drum to the lathe of the shutter. Then when it's dried, you can take it out of the jig and then you can glue the final end pieces on, which will tuck around underneath there, which you can't quite get to when it's in the jig. Then again on this end, normally the roller doesn't come totally off here because it's just so much glue surface. But here I've taken it off. Check you get it the right way around. The thread here should go towards the top of the jig. There. Now with your second clamp, if need be, you can put it there to help keep it pushed down. Or again, it will also fit there using this screw hole here if it suits you better to have it that side. So again, get this nice and square, push that down. Then this fabric goes more than one complete revolution round, so I would apply glue in the middle third section here, then carefully put it round so it's nice and tight and square. And again, when that is dried, you can then re-glue or glue this edge along the front here round on the underside. That is the first curtain done. So for the second curtain, a few changes to the jig. Remove our clamps. This would now be glued in there. This can come out. So we change over our first curtain lathe holder for our second one. We'll remove our first roller holder, move our blanking plate across and put in our second. Now this is another common fault with the Zenit, is that the roller becomes unglued on the second curtain. So we can lay this out here. So again, put our clamp on there. I'm just rushing for the video, but take your time to get it all nice and square. Okay, this should go up to the last to hold it. That's to hold the ribbon square. Okay, we come up here. We can use our other clamp here. It's nice and tight. Go this way. Yeah. We get them nice and tight there and do this up. Then we get the roller and make sure you get the thread here on the top reference to the jig, and drop in. You can get this nice and square now. Then you can apply glue to the length of the ribbon here and then glue around, keep it nice and square. And when that's dry, again you can then take this roller out and then you can glue the final bit so it goes round. One complete loop. That is it. That is the shutter repair jig. Thoughts and comments please post down below.